like to think of a cybernetic meadow where mammals and computers live together in mutually programming harmony, like clear water touching blue sky. I like to think of a cybernetic forest filled with pines and electronics, where deer stroll peacefully past computers as if they were flowers with spinning blossoms. It's a poem by Richard Brautigan in 1967. This is an amazing story, an amazing vision, cybernetic forest, and this was during an era when everything was changing. So there's a lot of idealism, and we've seen now that the world has gone maybe in a bit of a different trajectory. So this is a story of how to protect forests, how to restore them. So the forest as a central agent in our society. So we started with the idea of maybe even worshiping trees and nature. And now we see that we have, due to human incentive, to the human nature for greed, that we've caused immense damage to our ecology. And so we see a different way forward. It starts with a concept of ownership. So I want to challenge you to think about ownership in a new way. So we see now that ownership is controlled by corporations, natural persons, and organizations. We see a new way forward where, what if a forest can own itself? With this incentive mismatch, a forest can live for 1,000 years. It has a different perspective of time. Humans are only concerned about tomorrow, the next paycheck, the next election. So with the new powers of artificial intelligence, decentralization, and IoT, we want to instantiate a new concept of ownership, and we want to give agency to forests. So from a technological perspective, we have nature, we have humans, and technology. So in the future, we want to redistribute the balance between these three evolving systems. We want to give forests a voice. So I have a recipe for you. How do we accomplish this? I have a recipe to get started at least. So to instantiate a DAO, how does this work? Start with a legal agency. So start with maybe a co-op, maybe a corporation. Build some smart contracts. The corporation buys a forest. It then delegates ownership to the DAO, to the smart contracts. This then enables the forest to have a voice. This is the recipe. And now for our plan, we have a proof of concept incorporating these technologies. We have the DAO, we have microservices and AI, and we have robotics. The milestones that we have are to keep hacking on this problem. We want to scale it up. We imagine that the forest as a DAO has agency in the form of robotic agents, and we want to duplicate this. So our project is open source and scalable. So after this POC, we want to harden and we want to make it more robust. So it's a very quick hackathon, so we're moving forward with this. Next, so our 1,000-day target is a proof of concept, and to have something in the production net of Ethereum, our technology is Ethereum. We want to engage with conservation authorities, crowdsourcing, and we want to make this scaled up to not just one forest. So the first one would be just this one instance. So one forest with one DAO and several sensors, robotic agents in the forest. But this is duplicatable, of course, and wouldn't it be interesting to have multiple forest DAOs communicating with each other, to have a conversation? Let's talk about technology. This is where it gets interesting. So we have a tech demo here. So my colleague Enrique is going to start up our tech stack. Let's get this out of here so we can. Yep. Lighting, please. Banana holder. So our tech stack. We have Ethereum smart contracts deployed to a testnet. We have AI microservices interacting directly with the blockchain. So that the whole concept is to connect the Web 3.0 decentralization down to the lowest level of sensors and actuators. So we start with the blockchain. We have smart contracts generating events on the Ethereum smart contract network. These events are listened to by the Raspberry Pi, so it's connected to the internet. what happens next? Yeah, maybe you just start?
Yeah.
We call the start.
Yeah.
So we have a front end it's a DAP. So we're going to call the start, and it's going to start moving, and we'll call stop. So this is controlled. So that's, I don't know if anybody that's actually done this. It's actually controlling a robot from a blockchain. So this is how a DAO can actually gain power and agency to accomplish this bigger vision of giving a forest a voice. The next thing that happens, the robot has a bunch of sensors. First and foremost, a camera, GPS, soil, moisture, and temperature to give the forest self-awareness. We use artificial intelligence in the Raspberry Pi, so we're doing deep learning in the Raspberry Pi with TensorFlow. It will take this image and it will call the prediction and actually give you a list back of the words of the things that it sees. So it's a deep learning image classification. So hopefully it will say banana.
Yeah. It's taking a while.
The internet connection is like 5 seconds ping time, so it's been a fun hackathon. So we take a picture. The next thing we do is we call this API to do the prediction. So a stretch goal that we have is to incorporate Ocean Protocol so that this rover is acting as a scientific agent to take valuable data and put it into Ocean Protocol so that the scientific community can engage with this. So we have like some words like photography, okay, it's taking like reflection, lens flare, so it's not the best lighting. But these are words that are generated from the deep learning prediction.
And depending on how the picture is taken, the color and so on. Yeah.
So that's the idea. So to generate scientific data, to have a forest own itself, and to have the forest, give the forest a voice in the narrative about sustainability and the future. Cool. Thanks a lot. Awesome.
Really detail. Questions?
Me.
You have some technology questions?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
The actual image classification is done on the Raspberry Pi itself.
So currently we have TensorFlow installed, but due to the time of training, we're using a Google API currently. We would like to do another stretch goal, which is incorporate SingularityNet, for example. So they have a decentralized microservices or decentralized Web3 concept of AI services. So Ocean Protocol, SingularityNet are the stretch goals that we have. So currently, again, Google image classifier, we ping it, we get back a list of words.
Right.
So it is doing deep learning, but not on the Pi currently. Yeah.
But you plan on doing that?
Yes. So I have done that in other projects. There just was no time to train it.
All right. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, maybe something about incubation, but also about the partnerships and
Yeah. So
the one.
So again, I have identified several authorities that are really interested in conservation, and there are really some huge problems that they are looking to tackle. So, like just protecting forests, these are huge areas, and such a rover can act as a guardian. So, for example, poachers or people illegally clear-cutting, this gives more power to the conservation authority. So this DAO could be contracted by the conservation authority. So Sierra Club, Audubon, there are many forestry agencies out there that would be super interested in this. So this is our next step, contact these people and get them involved. So, I mean, really what we're looking for next is to harden this. And it's like if it rains, this is a problem, obviously. And then we want to put this in a forest and actually test it in the wild and have it, autonomously drive around. That'd be really cool.